And hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for this past week's The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 4. And sorry, but spoilers, if you haven't caught up to The Mandalorian yet, spoilers ahead. I mean, these spoilers are not super major for this week as well, but you've been warned. But there is one little thing at the end that's kind of big, but it's like basically more for the hardcore Star Wars fans. Not that anybody who watches this is a hardcore Star Wars fan. It's more of everybody who's watched the original cartoons and the old, all the movies in total. So you've been warned. Spoiler alert. So now we know Mandalorian, or Mando for short. He knows where he has to go. He has to go to this planet to find Ahsoka Tano, to basically give the child to her, so that way she can take care of him moving forward. Now, if you don't know who Ahsoka Tano is the former apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. She left the Jedi Order at one point. She came back to try to help out before Order 66. Things happened. She disappeared. She met the rebels, then disappeared again. Then came back for Darth Vader, disappeared again, and now we're going to find out where she's been all these years after Return of the Jedi and beyond. So in this week's episode, we see Mando. He finds himself meeting up with Carl Weathers' character and, of course, Gina Carano's character. Those two characters are back, which I actually enjoy them. I think they're very cool characters. And they have a little side mission that they want to do, and they need help from Mando. They want to basically clear out all the stormtroopers out of this, I guess, facility that's in their planets, and they want to get rid of all the stormtroopers. There's still stormtroopers out there, but now that the Empire at this point has fallen and the First Order hasn't really risen to power yet, there's still some stragglers along. The Empire, whatever's left of it, they're trying to rebuild that and to become the First Order, which we all know from Episode 7, 8, and 9. And so Mando, Carl Weathers' character, and of course Gina Carano's character, they all end up going to the base and wreak havoc as well. Then they find out some very interesting information about the base and what's in it. They find out the stormtroopers or the Empire's been doing some cloning, which I'll get to in a minute at the end of this video. But they find out there's some weird experiments, and why do they want the child? They got the DNA from the last time we saw the child with the, the Empire scientist. If you guys remember, like the first couple episodes with the child, we saw the scientist. He was experimenting on him. Apparently, they got his DNA some weird form and shape of how, who knows? But it was very interesting to know that, because it does give you questions about what's actually going on. And you see these test tubes and these like test tubes with something inside it. They don't know what it is. It could be anything. But yeah, this is like an interesting episode. Like I said, very, action-packed. That was cool. But for what the ending gave us, and of course we find out that the guy with the Death Blade or the Dark Saber, he's there as well. Not there physically, but he has something to do with that laboratory and that experiments that's been going on in that laboratory. So for me, what is it? What do I think it is? Well, for me, I think the Empire's been trying to work on either two things. I have two things about this, and maybe a lot of people have their own theories, but here's my two theories. One, they're trying to figure out how to get Force users on their side, make their own Force users. There are Force users out there in the universe. And, sometimes the dark side try to look for them, so that way they can recruit them to the dark side. And then, of course, we all know that the Jedis are gone, and there isn't more Jedis. All the Jedis who are alive after 66 are hiding from the Empire. And Luke disappeared, so there's really no Jedis. But there are some Force users out there, so maybe the Empire is trying to build some Force users for their own army and the dark side, or this is they using the DNA of the child or Baby Yoda to try to create the so-called clones of Snoke. Now, we all know Snoke from episode 7, 8, and 9, well, 7 and 8 mostly. Then we end up finding out that's really the Emperor who needed his life force so that way he can come back to life. Apparently, we find out that the reason that the Emperor survived, spoiler alert, after episode 6 is that he survived, he was badly injured, and he needed some life force, so they were building these bodies to, like, heal him. So that's something. So maybe they were using the blood of the child or Baby Yoda to try to make these Snokes be stable enough to heal the Emperor, like the one we have with Snoke. And we all thought Snoke was his own person, and of course, episode 9 revealed that it was really the Emperor the whole time, but I'm not going to get into that. But it is interesting that this could be the reason how the Emperor actually does come back, with the whole setup of the DNA of Baby Yoda, and then building Snokes, and then eventually bringing back the Emperor to life before, you know, his untimely demise again. Or this could be a way that the Emperor, he always had a plan, and then, oh yeah, let me find these children who are force sensitive, and try to build armies out of it. Make my own army, make a clone or something. Maybe he wanted to make a clone of Darth Vader, Dooku, who knows, you know. He could have had a whole bunch of DNAs for all we know, for all that. Or clone Baby Yoda to be his own evil Yoda. That could be a potential too, but we still don't know. And then we see at the end of the episode, the bad guy from the last season, who's now back in this one, the one who has the dark saber. He was in a ship, I believe, or in a room, and it had a whole bunch of like soldiers, like armor. It looked like armor, but it looked like it was either armor or they were soldiers getting ready. But they weren't your particular stormtroopers. They were all dressed in black, and they're all different. So who knows? Maybe Inquisitors, maybe something else. I don't know, but it looked interesting. The episode, like I said before, it was a fun episode. Cool action scenes. We got to see, like, them use, we saw the clones, I mean, the stormtroopers use speeder bikes and give chase to Mando and the team. Which, by the way, I don't know if anybody ever notices about the Star Wars, but how come the Empire has such a good way of flying vehicles, but yet when it comes to their combat shooting, they completely botch it all the time? I never understood that until I watched this episode. There are moments where you see, like, okay, they're shooting with their TIE fighters at Mando and his team, and they're putting on pretty good shots here. Obviously, they're missing, but they're like shots like, okay, they can kill them right here with missiles. But yet, when they shoot in blasters, it's like they're just shooting at the wall. It's like weird, but go figure. That was like the funniest thing I ever noticed in my dad. Maybe you noticed it too, but for me, it was funny to notice, like, wait, they're better shots with TIE fighters and space vehicles, but yet when it comes to blasters, they can't shoot for diddly squat. Like, seriously, I think a 5-year-old child could shoot better than a stormtrooper. It's like bizarre, but go figure. Anyway, but yeah, I thought the episode was pretty interesting. It wasn't the greatest episode, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. It did set up some stuff that could eventually be something that ties into episode 7, 8, and 9, for all we know. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it sets up the future movies, for all we know. If we are going to eventually get future movies, 10, 11, 12, eventually. But that's not until, like, years from now. Let's get some TV shows first, and the Kenobi movie or TV show, whatever the heck it's going to be, first. Get that out of the way, and then we can go back to 10, 11, 12, with hopefully bringing back Daisy Ridley as Rey, or a new character, or whatever. But right now, this could be setting up something for a new TV show, or a new movie, or it might be nothing. It might just be, okay, they were trying to clone Baby Yoda, or they took his DNA. Why? We have to wait to find out the actual truth, but it is fun to speculate what's going to actually happen. So, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it, and what do you think they're doing with Baby Yoda's DNA? Do you think they're trying to heal the Emperor by making, the Snokes, or are they trying to make their own Force users, from scratch, or something else? So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it, and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and have a good day.